Hey guys, it's Woody the Unexceptional Gamer, and in this video, I am going to cover all the rumors released so far on the Xbox 720. I did a comparable one yesterday, annotation on the screen, for the PS4, but this one is mostly going to be about the Xbox 720. I may make some comparisons between the two. Let's get started. Alright, first let's talk about specs. The PS4 and the Xbox 720, I'm so used to saying PS3, have roughly the same processor. It's an 8-core, 1.6 gigahertz processor. I see this in every rumor. Nothing changes. I think it's getting to be a really reliable rumor. Another thing that's really reliable is the 8 gigs of RAM. On the PS4, I talked about this in depth. You get, sometimes people say 4 gigs. They're trying to move to 8 to match what the Xbox is doing, yada, yada, yada. But the Xbox is going to have 8. You can just about bank on it. 800 megahertz graphics processor. I have seen tons of rumors about the GPU that don't match. So, this is what I'm seeing consistently, and they're saying it's from an unknown source, and I don't know what to make of the GPU, which is a pretty important part of a gaming console. But that's bouncing around right now. I see a trend towards saying the PS4 has a more powerful GPU than the Xbox 720, but it's early and the thing's not released yet. It's hard to take that to the bank. Having said that, that's where the rumors are right now. Blu-ray drive. This was not a guarantee. Blu-ray is a Sony-owned technology, which means that Sony will be making money from every Xbox 720 sold. They get a little royalty piece out of all the Blu-ray players sold, and if it's a Blu-ray player, it will fall in that group. But it looks like it's going to have it, which is probably a good thing. As these games get better and better, CD drives, even the enhanced super proprietary Microsoft format CD drive, doesn't have the kind of storage capacity that you want. So 50 gigabytes, that's is it gigabits? I think it's gigabytes. It's probably better. Anyway, the last two things, gigabit Ethernet connectivity and built-in Wi-Fi, that's a good thing too. But it leads into my next point. So, 3 bullet points that all mean the same thing. No used games. This is true on both the PS4 and the Xbox 720. Anyway, what they're going to do is they're going to have an activation code on that game that can only be used once. So you'll buy the game, you'll activate it, and then the next person, if he buys that disc from you, it will be worthless because it doesn't have an activation code, and you have to be online when you play it. That's how they're going to enforce it. Having to be online is a little less of a big deal on the 720 than it is on the 360. One, it has built-in Wi-Fi. I know the new 360s have built-in Wi-Fi too. This is wireless internet I'm talking about. But when the 360 first came out, it was only wired, and that was kind of a big deal. Or you had to pay like $100 or something, or $80 to get a Wi-Fi connector, and that didn't work out too well. Requiring that every Xbox was on the internet seemed like a bigger deal when the 360 first came out than it is right now. So, that's just the way it is. Now it seems like, really, who buys Xbox 720s that doesn't have a wireless internet, like router in their house, right? I think we all do, and it's not such a big deal to connect it. And then, of course, the people watching this are probably wired because we're hardcore and we totally care about lag and all that funny stuff. But yeah, no more used games. I think this is the trend going forward on every console. It's the trend on PCs. It's the trend everywhere. They're trying to get rid of the used game market because it costs developers money. That's the bottom line. How do I feel about this? Well, if they do the clever things that the PC guys do and run, Steam bundles or, Humble bundles and Steam sales and make a holiday out of everything, hey, it's Columbus Day, your games are $9.99, and just, inflate the sales of games by giving people an incentive to buy them when maybe they weren't going to before, then I love it. If they're just stupid old school retailers, then I don't love it. That's where we are. But anyway, this is just about confirmed for every console. Alright, the Xbox 720's architecture. This is it. You're looking at it. And unless you have some comp sci education or maybe even just a passion for computer science, this might not mean much to you. But I saw it, and I have both. Does that sound like a jerk thing to say? I don't know, but whatever. This is just a standard PC architecture. I saw it and I was immediately like, what? Oh, Northbridge, Southbridge PC architecture. There's no innovation here whatsoever, and that is a very, very good thing. It's awesome. Gabe Newell, the guy that owns Valve, they make Left 4 Dead, Counter-Strike, they run the Steam service, they make more, tons of games. I'm not even going to run through them all, but tons of great, great games. Team Fortress 2. they called the PS3 a waste of everybody's time. And there's a reason he said that. You know, it's not that he's just some kind of hater. It's that it's totally different than everything else that people are used to coding for, right? That's the thing. The PS4, they came up with this new cell processor thing, and they had APIs that nobody else knew, and they had this architecture that was very different from anything else that was out there, and it didn't really catch on. And what was supposed to be this awesome, innovative thing instead became a thorn in developers' side for the next 7 or 8 years, or however long the PS3, remains popular. That's the deal. People fuss now that Call of Duty doesn't run quite as well on the PS3 as it does on the Xbox or on the PC. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because it's different. It's because that it is its own unique snowflake out there on its own, different than all the other architectures out there that you see for the consoles, the PCs, etc. As a matter of fact, I'm going to flash that architecture up there one more time, and then I'm going to flash the standard generic Northbridge Southbridge thing that you see on PCs. All right, so take a quick peek at this, right? You see the two gray boxes in the middle? You've got the Northbridge as the top one. You hang everything fast off of it. The CPU, the GPU, the RAM, all the fast stuff hangs off the Northbridge. All the slow stuff hangs off the Southbridge. We're talking about controllers. We're talking about USB ports. We're talking about, I can't read it that well on my tiny screen. Some networking stuff. All the things that are comparatively slow hang off the Southbridge. All the stuff that's super speedy, like RAM and the CPU, hangs off the Northbridge. Let me show you the generic PC one. All right, this is the architecture of the PC you're probably watching this on now, or you might be on a phone, whatever. Up top, the Northbridge, it has the AGP, right? Accelerated Graphics Processor, GPU, I don't care what you want to call it. On the right, it has RAM, and on top, it has CPU. These are the fast things that hang off the Northbridge. Off the Southbridge at the bottom, you've got your USB, your Legacy, your BIOS, IDE, all that. All the slow crap hangs off the Southbridge. What I'm trying to say is, the Xbox 720 and the PS4 for that matter are really just PCs this time around that have really stable hardware, that's not going to be changing every month or, to have a gazillion different configurations that roll out over the next 7 years. What we're dealing with here on these consoles are sort of stable PCs as opposed to brand new, innovative, unique little snowflakes, which is what consoles were in the past. Release date. There are two rumors, both getting almost equal airtime in terms of when the Xbox 720 drops. One is June of 2013, and the other is for the Christmas season of 2013. So it's coming out this year. Unless something goes wildly wrong, the Xbox 720 will be available this year. They try not to give you too much notice on when it's coming out because they know that would completely kill sales for the Xbox 360. It would completely kill sales, maybe even for Xbox 360 games, which we all happily buy right now. If they were to give you 9 months notice and say this is when the new one comes out, then nobody would buy the one that's been announced as obsolete already. So it might be that at E3 they announced this thing that's June of this year, or I think it's June of this year, where suddenly the thing becomes fully available, and that's kind of exciting. Or it could be Christmas season, and if you're like me, you hear Christmas and you think December. It's really not the case, right? When it's Christmas season, that means that these things start becoming available in like October or November at the latest, and you can buy these things because no one just buys their Christmas gifts, right there 3 days before Christmas. Well, actually, I buy my Christmas gifts 3 days before Christmas. But that's when it will. These are the two rumors that are coming out. Man, I hope it comes out in June. That would be exciting for me. But, it seems like if it were coming out in June, they'd start talking about it a little bit more in February than they are already. But, I still have a dream. Built-in DVR. This one's really interesting to me. With these consoles now, they're trying to be more than just game players. They're trying to be the thing that you use for Netflix, for HBO Go. They're trying to be the thing that they want to be HDMI port 1, whereas now they're probably something else, but they want to be the primary thing that you use all the time. And a built-in DVR would be a step towards making them that total entertainment console thing. What's interesting for us gamers is, does that mean that it also has some sort of technology to record your games? That's a PS4 rumor, right? That thing's supposed to be able to record, the rumor is, 15 minutes worth of gameplay. So, if you're hardcore about YouTube, that's not quite doing it for you. But it's really interesting. And if this thing has a built-in DVR, maybe it records, DVRs wouldn't just do 15 minutes. They do hours and hours worth of footage. So, that's captured my attention. I wonder what it can do in terms of DVR recording and things like that. So I feel like the big takeaway from the Xbox 720 and the PS4, how nowadays people have evolved to the stance of saying, Look, it doesn't matter which console you use, they're both about the same. More than ever, that will become super true. They're the same architecture. They're the same CPU specs. The GPU specs are up in the air. They're supposed to have the same amount of RAM. There is so little differentiating these two things that I think it's all going to come down to the software that ships with them. Which one has the OS that you find easier to use? Which one seems to have the better third-party support? You know, like right now, for example, Xbox has HBO Go and the PS3 doesn't. What's it going to be like in the next generation? If all these sort of third-party guys start targeting the Xbox or the PS4 as the place where they want to be, then that will be the place where we want to be also. But man, in terms of system specs, the 720 and the PS4 seem so parallel that it's really going to come down to who writes the better software for this thing. There you go. If you're still here, be sure to click on like or subscribe in the top right if you're new around here. Here's two videos you may have missed. On the left, every PS4 rumor so far. And on the right, Mail Monday, one of my most popular series. And I thought it was good this week. So check those out. They open in new windows. Have a good day.